Howdy woodturners. I wanted to make this video because possibly there's some of y'all out there that were wondering, just like I was, the best way to seal this wood up after it's cut and try to prevent cracking in the wood. This is live oak that I've got, and the grain runs every which way, but even if it stands out a little bit, you'll see all the turquoise inlay in this particular bowl, and all those cracks may look good, but they present a safety hazard. I would rather do without, but I do my best to. Some of these cracks go all the way through, and you just got to make sure you wear all your safety protection, face shield, and work as carefully as possible, because the last thing I want is one of these bowls split in half at about 1500, 2000 RPM and come flying in the strike zone. But anyway, live oak is very beautiful. It has grain that goes in every which way. Makes a very beautiful bowl, but it is very hard once it gets dry too. So that's one reason why I'd like to get rough cut bowls and let them dry. And this will be the first chance of seeing one right here. I've had in a bag with shavings since January, and it is currently late July, July 28th. So pulling this one out, it looks like it's done rather well. From what I see right off the bat, there's just one little crack right down in here. So I consider that successful. Now it does go all the way through. So I'm going to put some CA glue on that. It's not really big enough to fill with turquoise. So this one will end up being a pretty good live edge bowl in the very end, I hope. I'll end up turning it down a lot more. Hopefully I'll keep some of this bark over here, and then just get rid of where the bark came off here. So that was successful, and this will be an easy turn. What's a hard turn is this guy here, if you just cut it. Now what I attempted to do was paint it with latex paint. And all this paint was just the rejects at Home Depot. You can buy them for relatively cheap. So that's what this was painted with, and if you can tell, it really didn't help. Got some major cracks right down through the center that continue down on the side, especially on this side. I'm not really sure if I'm willing to put the amount of time into this one that I put into those two, which easily, from the amount of times I filled the cracks, turned out what I put in and returned it, each bowl took probably a week. Really rather not spend that much time. So this is a maybe not going to happen. Now, since that happened, I decided to buy this Anchorseal 2. This is the first time I've used it. So in future videos, I'll identify which of these pieces of wood right here that I've used Anchorseal on. I went out this morning, cut down, well, not cut down, but it was already fallen oak trees, live oak. And I'm really happy with how the inside of these trees look. It's not fresh green. If I was to guess, maybe they fell sometime during last winter, 6 months ago. So it's just not fresh wet, but even in the amount of time it took me to drive home, an hour or so, and put this Anchorseal on, there was already a little bit of cracking going on. So these cracks happen almost immediately. If you wait a day from the time you try to seal it, you're already going to have to cut off quite a bit to get rid of those cracks. This Anchorseal goes on, well, it looks like a white latex paint, but as it dries, and I put this on about 15 minutes ago, and it's not quite dry yet. When it dries, it looks like it's going to be clear. Then I'm going to flip all these over and paint the underside. I'll probably flip them over and paint the underside shortly after this video, so the underside doesn't sit out exposed that much longer. But anyway, I thought I'd point that out. I'd like to hear from anybody that's had success with Anchorseal 2, that has tried the latex and not found it to be a good sealant while you're waiting, because that is a problem when you've got this much wood. I would like to cut them all down to blanks, rough blanks, and put them in paper, but there's no way I can do all this amount in one day. So, and then you end up with something that may look pretty, but it's going to take quite a long time, and you're going to be holding your breath sometimes a little bit on the safety factor of it. Anyhow, I'd like to hear your comments. If you had experience either way, or if you know a better way other than the Anchorseal or the latex paint of keeping these end grains from cracking until you're ready to cut it in half and put it on the lathe and make a bowl out of it. So, till next time, thank you, take care.